Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Actress Samara Weaving stars in the new movie Chevalier in theaters nationwide today. She joined me to discuss the true story of a slave who became a composer to rival Mozart. Hey, Samara Weaving. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Now, a lot of our listeners, they might recognize you as the awesome Bloody Bride in Ready or Not, one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years. But today we're here talking Chevalier in theaters, April 21st. You and I know what it's about, but tell our listeners, what's the premise? You know, who was Joseph Bologna? How he crossed paths with everyone from Marie Antoinette to Mozart.
Yeah, he was the son of a slave and a slave owner in France, and his father strangely put him in a arts school for talented boys, and he learned how to write and perform operas, and Marie Antoinette dubbed him a chevalier. And yeah, he was apparently better than Mozart, but we don't know who he is, or at least I didn't know who he was. So I hope that audiences watch this and research him, and maybe they'll teach it in schools one day.
Yeah, that's the cool thing, because I mean, when you see the trailers and everything, you think of the great, Milos Forman movie Amadeus, but we all knew who Mozart was, but here we don't. Most people, you and myself included, but we didn't. I don't know who. We didn't know who this was, so it's always more exciting to learn about roles like that. Tell us who you play. His lover Marie Josephine. What drew you to her character?
Yeah, well, Stephanie Robinson's writing was so powerful, and I thought she was such a formidable character. I love that, she was, trapped in this toxic relationship and married to a man she didn't really want to be married to, but took it upon herself at great risk, somewhat naively, somewhat bravely, to defy his wishes. I loved the scene where she stands on the table and like chugs a beer and asks, "What about women?" To a group of stuffy men. So I just fell in love with her after that, and feel very grateful to be a part of it.
Oh, to be able to see you and Kelvin Harrison Jr. in the same movie. I mean, he blew me away in waves, and I think we're gonna hear a lot about these performances, come award season later this year. But real quick, I know we're on such a tight schedule, but I wanted to ask about the direction of Stephen Williams. We remember him; he did a couple of those great episodes. I think episode 3 and 6 of Watchmen on HBO. How would you compare his style of working with you guys, as actors, compared to, say, Damien Chazelle in Babylon or Mark McDonagh in Three Billboards, all the greats you've worked with? How would Steven sort of compare?
Yeah, I mean, all directors are different, and how you work with them, it changes. And I think that's how I learn. I didn't go to drama school, so I learned on the job. Stephen was very specific about his vision, and that was really interesting to be a part of.
Wait, so you didn't go? I want to unpack that really quick in the final seconds. You didn't go to drama school, so what you learned on the job? How'd you break in then?
I started working when I was 14 in Australia, which is very different from being a child actor in America. That sounds traumatic, but in Australia it was, I still had a chill childhood. And no one really knew, who I was, but I got to work. Yeah, and then when I finished school, I got offered a role on Home and Away, this soap opera in Australia, and so I had to choose between university or going straight to work. And I essentially, well, that was my goal anyway, so I chose that. And yeah, I just learned from other actors and other directors, and yeah, very lucky in that sense.
Awesome. Well, we're really lucky you joined us, and lucky that you made Chevalier. Everyone check it out, April 21st in theaters, and hopefully every Halloween, Ready or Not, come. I want that to be a Halloween staple. I think it's so good.
Thank you. That's very kind.
All right. Be well.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.